Hello guys, welcome back to another tutorial. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to create a beginners and easy shoot the falling asteroids game. So the goal of this game is to shoot these falling asteroids out of the sky and try and prevent them from reaching the ground. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so before we actually start creating the game, we need to get all the sprites. So I left a link in the description of this video, and this link will lead you to this page, and you should see an option right here to remix this project. So go ahead and click on that button, and then you should be able to see something like this with all the sprites that we need to actually program this game. We can also go ahead and choose a background, so I'm gonna click on this choose a backdrop button, and I'm going to select the blue sky for my background, and then we're going to go ahead and move the cannon to the ground, and I'm going to put this cannon in x0, so that's the middle, and then our cannon is facing up. Perfect. So now we can go ahead and get the one flag click block. And what I want is that every time the flag is clicked, I want the cannon to start out like in this position, basically. So I'm going to get the go to block. And now if I move the cannon over here, when I click the green flag, the cannon will go back to where it was. And I also want the cannon to point in direction 0. So every time the flag is clicked, the cannon will basically reset itself. So even if the cannon is like somewhere here, the moment I click on the green flag, it will go back to the starting position. Perfect. Now to make the cannon move, we're gonna get a forever loop. And in this forever loop, we'll go to motion, and we want the cannon to point towards the mouse pointer. So if we do this, our cannon will always point towards the mouse pointer. So that is the movement of our cannon finished. And now let's focus on how we'll make the balls shoot out of the cannon. So first we're gonna get the one flag click block as usual. And we also are gonna get another forever loop. In this forever loop, we want the ball to go to the cannon basically. And we also want the ball to point in the same direction of the cannon. Because if the ball is pointing in a different direction, then imagine if the cannon is pointing here, the ball will shoot out like this, which is kind of weird, right? We want the ball to shoot out like this in the same direction that the cannon is facing to. So to find out the direction of the cannon, we can go to the cannon sprite, and we'll create a variable, and we'll call this variable cannon direction. And in this forever loop, we will set the cannon direction to the current direction of the cannon basically. So now this cannon direction variable is exactly the same as the direction of the cannon itself. And then we can use this cannon direction variable in the ball. So we'll get the point in direction block, and then we want the ball to point in the direction of the cannon. So now our ball is always pointing at the direction of which the cannon is facing. Perfect. Now to actually make the ball shoot out, we're going to use clones, because we want it so that every time we click basically, one ball will shoot out. And since we only have one ball, it's not really possible to make multiple balls shoot out, right? So to do that, we need to use clones. So I'm gonna get a if variable, and in this if block, and in this if block, I'm gonna check if mouse is down, basically. And mouse down means that if I'm pressing down on my mouse. And if this mouse is down, then I will go ahead and create a clone of myself. So now that I create a clone of myself, I need to get this block of what to do when the clone is created. So when I start as a clone, I'll go ahead and get another forever loop. And in this forever loop, I will make the ball move 13 steps. So I think that's a good speed that the ball should move in. And now let's test it out. And well, the balls are definitely shooting out of the cannon, and they're shooting in the correct direction of which the cannon is facing. But I think this is not really how we wanted it to work. So what I want to do is that I want it so that when I click, then only the ball will shoot. So when I complete one full click of my mouse, that's when one ball will shoot, right? And that way, we can fix this weird glitch of like the balls just like coming out. And it's not really a glitch because what the thing with the mouse down is like as long as my mouse is down, I'll keep creating clones of myself, right? So I want it so that we'll only create a clone once the mouse is down and then it's back up. So like after the click. So let me just show you guys what I mean by this. So to do this, I'm gonna broadcast a message basically. So I'm gonna take this create clone of myself part out. I'm gonna broadcast a message, and when I receive this message, I'm gonna wait until my mouse is not down anymore basically. So I'm gonna go to operators, I'm gonna get the not like block, and then I'm gonna go to sensing and get the mouse down block, and I'm gonna wait until the mouse isn't down. And once the mouse isn't down, then only I'll create a clone of myself. So this way, this like weird thing stop happening. So as even if I hold my mouse, nothing will come out. Only once I hold my mouse and let go, that's when the ball will like come out basically. So now that we got our like a cannon shooting the balls properly, we can go ahead and actually start with the asteroids. So I think this asteroid is a bit too small. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this asteroid a bit bigger. And I think 200 should be good. And what I want is that I want the asteroids to start out at the very top. And I want them to come like falling down basically. So the y coordinate actually like decides the position of a sprite for the up and down like range. So the highest y coordinate that you can have is actually 197. So this is the very top of like where we can make the asteroid start out with basically. So that's where I want the asteroids to start coming down. Now, to actually create the asteroids and make them fall down, we have to actually use clones. So when the flag is clicked, I'm gonna get a forever loop, and every 1 second, I want to create a clone of myself. So I'm waiting 1 second and then creating a clone. Then when the asteroids start as a clone, I want them to um, start out in a random position. So now, if you notice and I click on the green flag, every 1 second I'm supposed to be creating a clone of myself. But I don't really see those asteroids anywhere. I only see one asteroid over there. But what's happening is, since all the asteroids are starting out in one spot, we can't really see them like spawning in basically. What I want is that I want the asteroids to start out in random like positions. I don't want all the asteroids to start out in this position, right? Or else the game would be too easy. It will just be shooting in a straight line basically. So to make the asteroid start out in, like, for example, here or over here, like in random positions, we will have to get this pick random block, and the x coordinate actually chooses the, like, left and right direction, left and right position of a spike. So we're gonna put this pick random block in the x coordinate over here, and we will pick a random number between minus 230 and 230. So now if I click on the green flag, I should see asteroids spawning in, and they are spawning in different directions. So our code works perfect. Now it's time to make the asteroids actually fall down. Now, to do that, we have to make sure that the asteroids are pointing down, or else when they move, they won't move down. So to make them move down, we have to make them point in direction 180, so all the way down. Then we get a forever loop, and as usual, we get our move and surf block. And I think a good speed for the asteroids right now is 3 steps. So let me click on the green flag and test this out. And well, we do see the asteroids falling in. Perfect. But the problem is the game isn't really stopping once the asteroids reach the ground. So let's go ahead and do that. But first, I want to get rid of this asteroid over here, because that asteroid is just so, like, there. And it's kind of weird that this asteroid is here while other asteroids are falling down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to looks, and we're gonna get the hide. So when the flag is clicked, this asteroid will hide itself. And every time a new clone starts, then that clone shows itself. So now it's like, now the asteroids are coming down, we don't have that annoying asteroid like over here. So to actually make the game, like, stop once we reach the ground and cannon, we need to get a if block and check if it happens. So we want to check if the asteroids are touching the ground first, and to do that we need to check if it's touching the color of the ground, which is brown, right? So if I click on this color over here, I can click on this button, and this button will allow me to select the color which I would like. So I'm gonna select the brown color, and then I'm also want the asteroids to, like, I also want the game to end if the asteroids are touching the cannon. So I'm gonna get this touching block, and I'm gonna check if it's touching the cannon. Now to put these two, like, things together, I'm gonna get the OR block, and then I'm gonna put them together like this, and then put them here. So if the asteroid is touching the color brown, which is the ground, or touching the cannon, I want to stop the game. But how do I actually stop the game? Well, if you go on control, then you can find the stop all button basically. And let's test it out. And and it should work. Perfect. So once that asteroid actually hit the ground or touched my cannon, the whole game ended basically. So now that we have our asteroids working, our game ending, and our cannon moving perfectly, even our bow shooting, we will actually we do want our asteroids to, like, okay, so now that we have our asteroids falling down and the game ending once they reach the ground, we also want them to, like, sort of explode once they get hit by the ball, right? So how do we actually make that happen? How do we make this asteroid, like, actually explode when we hit the ball? Well, to do that, we will have to check if the asteroid is touching the ball. So I'm gonna get a if block. I'm gonna put it right here. Now I'm gonna check if the asteroid is touching the ball. And if the asteroid is touching the ball, then I would like to go to this exploding animation. So if you go to costumes, you'll notice that I have these costumes over here. And if they go like really fast, then it's sort of like a exploding animation, right? So what I'm gonna do to like make that exploding animation, I'm gonna get the repeat block. And since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 costumes for the exploding animation, I'm gonna repeat this 5 times. I'm gonna wait like 0.01 second. I mean 0.1 second between each switch. Well, actually, 0.01 second, because like 0.1 second is very slow if we do the animation. So, and then I'm gonna go to looks, and I'm gonna get the next next costume block here. And now if the asteroid is touching the ball, there should be that like exploding animation, right? So our asteroids are exploding, but we also have to make sure that we delete that asteroid after it explodes. So I'm gonna go to control, and I'm gonna get this delete this clone block. So after the asteroid explodes, we also delete that clone of the asteroid. So let's check if it works. And perfect. We can technically play the game now, but it doesn't really make sense that the ball like makes the asteroid explode and then still continues, right? I want it so that the ball also like disappears when the asteroid explodes. So to do that, I'm gonna get another if block, and I'm gonna put in this forever loop for the clone. And if you notice right here, if I shoot, the bow sort of gets stuck in the edge, right? So I also want the bows to like delete and like disappear, so like delete when they touch the edge. So I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna go to sensing, and if the balls are touching the edge or they're touching the asteroid, I want them to, I want the ball to delete basically. So I'm gonna go to operators, then I'm gonna get the OR operator so I can put these two together, and then I'm gonna put in the if block. And what's very important, I want the ball and the asteroid to delete at the same time. If you notice here, the whole like exploding animation, if you do 5 times 0.01, it takes 0.05 seconds. So after 0.05 seconds of touching the ball, the asteroid is deleted. So to make the ball delete at the exact same time as the asteroid gets deleted, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna get this wait 1 second block, and I'm gonna make the ball wait exactly 0.05 seconds before it gets deleted. Perfect. Now our balls are shooting perfectly, and our game is literally finished. But like to make it more interesting, I think it's good to have like a score like variable so that you can try and like beat your high score or something. So what I want to do is I want the score variable to like update every time the ball hits the asteroid basically. So I'm gonna make a variable. I'm gonna call this variable score, and what's very important is that every time the game starts, so every time the flag is clicked, I'm gonna set the score back to 0. Then I'm gonna go to the cannon, and then I'm gonna check when I'm touching the ball, and if this asteroid is touching the ball, which means it got hit, then I'm gonna change the score by 1. So here I'm setting the score to 0 to like reset the score when the flag is clicked. And when the asteroid is touching the bow, I'm changing the score by 1. So now every time the bow hits the asteroid, my score gets increases by 1. So this is working perfectly. Now we're almost done with our game, but what I would like to do is make the game a bit harder because it's kind of easy. So I actually want to make the asteroids go down a bit faster as the game progresses. So to do that, I'm gonna create another variable, and I'm gonna call this variable asteroid speed. And I'm gonna make the, so we're in the asteroid sprite here, and I want this asteroid to move with the asteroid speed, right? So in the beginning, I'm gonna set the asteroid speed to 3, so that's the beginning speed. And every 1 second, I want to change the asteroid speed by 0.1. So now, so when the game starts, the asteroid speed is 3, and every 1 second in this forever loop, we're changing the asteroid speed by 0.1. So the asteroids slowly get faster and faster. Then we can go ahead and like uncheck these variables so that we only have our score variable, and our game is completely finished. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.